just gonna go attack. Clear this out again. Draw trigger. It's gonna help us hit 16. Heal trigger. Let's see if we can attack one more so we can ask for 2 defensives. Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're gonna go back to Fighters Collection again and showcase another Narukami build than what we have so far. So I have done a Vanquisher deck profile. I've done 2 actually. One a little bit spicier with the stands and another with the more traditional 9 draws with the legions as well. But with Fighters Collection, we actually have support for one of the most oppressive archetypes in Zero's history, and that is Big Bang Knuckle, with Brawlers, of course. So without further ado, let's talk about the support and how the list works and how it differs between ladder and global's competitive play scene. So let's talk about the list I used for ladder first, which is where I generally test my decks overall. It might not be the most ripe for competitive comparisons, but it's the easiest to get into games, get footage, and also just sheer volume of games without having to wait and do all that stuff. So let's talk about the list. First of all, we're going to be playing the Grade 3 Searcher. Then you have other options, but I do think that the Grade 3 Searcher is still very important. We are only playing 9 Grade 3s, so just naturally drawing to Grade 3 is a bit harder. Your Grade 3s do want to have extra copies of other Grade 3s to tuck into the soul to activate skills, so the Sparking Dragoon not only helps you with the consistency of finding the Grade 3 you want, but also to activate the skills you need. So it's very valuable. We play 4 of the countercharging PGs because countercharge is nice. We play 3 of the Stride Fighters because striding is solid. It's not necessarily the end-all be-all compared to some other variants like Vanquisher, but Mighty Bolt Dragoon is still very nice. Striding is always going to be a valid option, and we do play the 1-of Vanquisher, so just in case things don't work out, or if the matchup permits, we can then transition into Vanquisher instead. We play 4 of the Kokon, which I really do like this card. When your Brawler Vanguard hits, get plus 3k, scales up very nicely. We play 4 of this because we do sacrifice some of our Grade 2 slots for some other units that help us plus, or just for matchup purposes. So having the Kokon as the scaler here helps act as a booster or a standalone unit as well, and is very helpful. And lastly, we play 2 of the Desert Gunners. Reason being is because generally the Vanguard attacks first. The Vanguard attacks all your opponent's stuff on the board, or at least everything on the front row. So the Ryan helps you make sure that your rear guards that might not scale appropriately still have a shot before your big bang crushes your opponent right in the face. Next, for the Grade 2s, we play 4 of the Big Man Slash Buster, the mate for the Cross Ride, and we play 2 of the Big Man Slash Dragon. Basically what they do is when their Brawler attack hits, it gets plus 3k. Slash Dragon is better on the rear circle because as long as it's a Brawler Vanguard, it gets plus 3, while the Big Bang Slash Buster requires your Vanguard to be a Big Bang Knuckle to be an 11k beater and get plus 3 whenever it hits. So slight differences, so depending on your hand, be careful with what you're trying to set up. Big Bang Slash Buster is better later into the game, but Big Bang Slash Dragon is better earlier, especially on turn 2, when you don't really want to commit too much, but you still want to be able to hit those numbers from time to time. We play 4 of the T-Rock because resist is just good. One of the weaknesses of this card is that it only scales if your Vanguard's in Legion. So because we do have a Big Bang Stride that does not synergize with T-Rock, but that's fine. It's fine, just having the resistance is good enough, and that's why we play 4 of the Kokon, right? And lastly, we play 3 of the Chatura. Chatura is just a really great card. The negative is that it can attack rearguards. The positive is that it's an 11k beater on the rearguard circle, and GB1 when it hits, you can counterblast 1, bind a card, and draw a card. So counterblast 1 to draw 1, and an 11k beater by itself is very nice, and that's why we play Desert Gunners, because we do need to have that one shot to the face to plus and continue our momentum. Next, we play 1 of the Vanquisher. Helps us zap the front row, helps us get crits, which is really seldom, but it's there. And binds as well. And we play 4 of the Big Bang Knuckle Buster. This card legions with Slash Buster, and when it's in Legion, you can counterblast 1, put a Big Bang Knuckle from your hand to your soul, get +5, and it attacks 4 of your opponent's units in 1 attack. It also cross-rides with Big Bang Knuckle Dragon. So Big Bang Knuckle Dragon is the main target for attacking into the soul. And what Big Bang Knuckle Dragon does is basically a Vermilion, Mass 2, get +5, and attacks everything from in your opponent's front row in one attack. And also +2 when it attacks. So both are very devastating because it smashes everything. It basically ignores intercepts in the sense that they don't matter. You're just gonna kill them all anyways. But the weakness is your rear guards do need to scale because generally your Vanguard is the first one to attack. So you need to work with that as well. For the grade 4s, we're playing one of the Harmonics just for the Link Joker matchup. It doesn't really matter too much with this deck because your Vanguard just swings at everything anyways. But it's still nice just in case, you know, you do need the numbers to kind of go for lethal. Harmonics is there for you. We play one of the Zoras. In some matchups, maybe your opponent's not committing a board for you to smash. Maybe your opponent has some, is very Legion centric, really wants some stuff in the drop zone to do some shenanigans. Zoras helps you retire something from the back row as well as bind 2. So that's very helpful. We play 4 of the Conquest Dragon, which is self-explanatory, GB2. G Persona Blast, retire something from the front row, which means you have more shots to the face and gives your front row +5k, which helps you hit numbers that you need to pressure maybe PGs instead of heal guards. And lastly, we play 2 of the Big Bang Knuckle Turbo, and this is the new support for Big Bang Knuckles. Once per turn, if you have a Big Bang Knuckle Heart, Soul Blast 1, Camera 1, turn a card from your G zone face up to get +5 for each of your true Brawler Big Bang Knuckle Turbo, and then it battles all of your opponent's front row rear guards and units in one attack. If you have 2 heart cards, it battles an additional unit in the back row. So, what does this mean? Well, you don't actually need to flip itself over. You don't actually need to flip itself over to get the +5 to get the skill. You flip itself over to get the +5k, which honestly doesn't really matter since it is the first one to attack. But what this means is, depending on the matchup, well, you can choose which units you want to flip up and cater towards the plan that you have on the scenario. So, you know, you can always use Big Bang Turbo first, flip something like Harmonics, and then go Big Bang Knuckle again and flip Zoras, and you'll get the extra 5k, which doesn't really matter. But both cases, the skill will still proc. So, generally speaking, what is the game plan? We're gonna ride something like the Kokon or the Stride Fodder if you have a grade 3 already. Then we're going to go into the Slash Buster or the Slash Dragon, save the Chatura for the value, and the Tarok, depending on the matchup. If your opponent doesn't have front row removal anyways, then you can ride the Tarok safely. And then grade 3s, generally we're going to go into the Big Bang Knuckle Buster, maybe back up into the Vanquisher depending on the matchup. And generally, well, I personally prefer to go into the Stride first, just because we get to set something. We get to discard like a grade 1 Stride Fodder or a grade 3 to the drop zone, better Legion targets. But of course, if your opponent commits a lot, then you punish them with Big Bang Knuckle Buster right from the get-go by Legioning. But yeah, generally speaking, I like going to the Turbo, just because it's not GB2 restricted, just because it still gives you that pressure attacking everything, and it gives you that drop 1 for the stride cost and draw 1 from the stride. So that's basically it. Let's go into a game or two and see how this deck performs on the ladder. Now, I know there are lots of requests for some other decks. Tachikaze was one, Musketeers for Neo Nectars was another. I am working on it. A bit slower because I am trying to get more practice with the meta decks right now, because the Winter Circuit Finals are coming around soon. So that's exciting. Before I forget, for competitive play so far recently for the Winter Circuit, for both qualifiers and the finals, one big thing is that the choice restrictions are off. What this means is you can play Rising Phoenix in this deck, and so I would replace the Desert Gunners for the Rising Phoenixes, just because Rising Phoenix is so blessed to draw 1. The deck doesn't really draw besides the Chatura, so the Rising Phoenix is really helpful, as well as just having 2 extra units in the drop zone, getting you to Legion a little bit faster, and streamlining the game. So of course you still got the nerf with Knuckle Buster not giving you that 1 draw when you use the skill, but you know, at least you have Phoenix right now, which definitely makes the deck much more competitive than it is right now on the ladder. And game 1, we're going to be playing against Kagero. We see the Grom. So this is probably going to be a Blade Master build, because it is choice restricted on the ladder. We see the CB2 draw 1, 9k grade 2. We have the right grade 3 we want, of course, and the grade 2 as well. Kagero does have removal, so we are going to keep the resist in our hand. That would come in handy. And we're just going to swing. We could commit the 9k to bully, but we don't really have a lot of intercepts. And we do want to keep the resists valuable for when your opponent has a retire skill, so it kind of annoys them, I guess. But makes less of their turn. So next turn we're going to ride. Unfortunately, we don't have any great plays going first, because we are Legion and Astride centric, so both we kind of have to go second for. Going first is an unfortunate result. Coin flip meta indeed, but we will do what we can and see how we do. So Conroe into PG, and they have the Bolakosky to get the refund for the turn. They also have the Lava Flow, search for the Blade Master, but luckily we do have the T-Rock, so we're not afraid of that. They also play the 12k Perdition. Interesting. I mean, they do play the Great often, but I don't know if the 12k is that great. Alright, going to the Big Bang Knuckle Buster. Very good card, honestly. Even right now, you can argue that this unit is better than its Stride. I think the argument is better for when you have the draw 1, but still nonetheless still very good. And I'm just gonna call down the intercept more for defense, but if we sack and they don't, then we actually get an extra attack in. I do want to keep the grade 3 just because we don't have stuff in the drop zone, so it's not like we can Legion immediately anyways. So I do want to keep the Vanquisher in my hand for the Stride, and I do want to keep the Big Man Knuckle Dragon for the skill. They can't retire the T-Rock, but they can retire the Sparking Dragoon. I don't know if that's the best decision. Oh, not striding. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, Berserk Dragon gets rid of the back row. Okay, that's a very pricey removal, but I guess they can assume that we don't have stuff to commit. But let's see if they're going to commit another column. And we do want to see some of our skillers, because if our Vanguard's going to attack first with Turbo, then I don't know if our rearward column will hit. Maybe we'll solo this. Vanguard only. Alright, clock is ticking. Going into Grom for the counter charge. The question is, do they have something else to commit on the board? They only have 5 cards left, that's 4 cards left. So they're trying to go on the aggression, push us to 4. They do see that draw trigger, which means that they're practically guaranteed to push us to 4 if we don't see a heal. We already have 2 heals in the hand, which is unfortunate. But that's okay. We're gonna draw trigger, and we can stride. We can't Legion, but let's see what we're gonna do. Honestly, Shatura here is enticing. Big Man Knuckle Turbo. Oh, we did draw to the Kokon. That's pretty top decky. Let's go into it. Ditch the Vanquisher. There you go, that's pretty badass. Alright, we're gonna use the skill. Soul Blast the grade 2. Flip over Harmonics, which doesn't matter in this matchup. Skill, but no 5k, that's absolutely fine. We're gonna call down this, I'm gonna call down this. And we're just gonna battle the front row. Can we see a trigger? Heal trigger, that's very nice. We're gonna tip the skills to our favor. Boom. And that's a PG. And we're gonna hit 30k. Reminds me of the good old days, but they're gonna heal as well. That's a shame. Put that draw into their drop zone, which means another trigger target if they Legion. But let's see what they're gonna do. Are they gonna stride? If they do, they still can't retire the front row, which really hurts the Blade Master player. You know, it's not a big deal, but it is a headache because generally Kagero is a 3-attack deck. Not being able to remove the intercept just means you lost a potential attack to the face. And that can be annoying. I guess you can always go into the ace, but it does require a little bit of commitment with your hand size and you need to set it up with GB2. We're going to the Neo Flame, which is going to kill the Kokon. Unfortunate because we do rely on it quite a bit, but next turn we can Legion. So that will be really helpful. One of the things to note about the Knuckle Buster is that it attacks 4 units at once. You don't have to attack the Vanguard. So what that means is I can always choose to just attack the 4 units on the board. 4 units, the rearguards on your opponent's board right now, and make sure that the Church can safely just 11 and hit face. So that is also a play to consider. Definitely when your opponent's lower on resources and you are struggling on resources as well, it just means that you can safely clear up your opponent's board and draw as well, which is quite nice. Velocity hits, gonna get that counter charge. We do have 2 heal guards and a PG, so hopefully that's enough for us to hang on for dear life. I'm just going to Legion at this point. Just going to put some stuff back. The Tail Rock it's pretty good. As you can see, we're just shutting down their on-stride plays. They're not even striding. I don't know why. They generally, I at least want to set up GB1, but I guess not. We're going to use the skill, put the OG1 into the soul. Gets the crosshair number and the skill. Zero off here, and I commit this. Attack, I'll kill this as well because it does scale. Hopefully we see a trigger. No trigger, but hopefully they don't see a trigger. Oh god, that's annoying. Yeah, trigger discrepancy really hurts. So they are going to be able to get rid of the Chatura. Hopefully what we have for our hand is enough to survive. Go for another Big Bang play and go for a game. I'm going to go to Zam, which is going to clear out our board. So that is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough game. Hopefully we can make it. 13k body means that our opponent needs to commit to hit that number, but at the same time, whatever they commit, it's happy hunting for us. So we do want to see a heal because being at 5 is a very tough spot. We haven't really seen a lot of triggers this game compared to our opponent, and it does feel like a little struggle right now. I don't know if we can make it. Seems like all hope is lost, but you never know until the very end. So, alright, let's see what they're gonna do. Heal, okay. That's one less heal to care about, I guess. But yeah. That's a PG. We have 1 card left. I really don't know what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna draw into this. That's not super helpful. Let's go into turbo. Right now we need a Kokon or something and hope our opponent doesn't have a PG. Terrock is not what we're looking for, unfortunately. We're gonna ditch the Kokon, flip over the Zoras. Now, because we have 2 cards in the heart, because we are in Legion state, it does battle 1 additional back row, which is nice. I don't know if it's helpful right now, but it is nice. We're just gonna go attack, clear this out again. Draw trigger, it's gonna help us hit 16. Heal trigger, let's see if we can attack 1 more so we can ask for 2 defensives. What? Come on. Yeah, no trigger. That's PG, no heal guards. Come on. Yo, what the heck? What? We smashed it. Whoa, yeah. So comebacks are real. Just triple trigger, you know. That was crazy. That was crazy. Who would have expected that? I didn't expect that. But I guess yeah, you never know until the very end, and you just gotta play it out. To be fair, you know, even though that was a triple trigger moment, as you could see from like the whole game, we saw half the triggers our opponent did. We had a very thin, well, relatively thin deck, so it was stacking, but I think it's you know, we won, and I can't complain. So there's that. All right, we're gonna go into game 2 against Narukami as well. So a little mirror match here. PGs are nice, but I don't know if we want that many. And Stride Butter is solid. You can always Stride. Sparking Dragoon. And I do think that Brawlers used to be super oppressive with the way they just destroy the board, destroy your opponent's value that they generated. But right now the meta is a bit different. The meta is very much more combo heavy, much less value centric, and most decks I'd say are able to Superior Call or draw cards or both. And what that means is that even if you know you pre-nerf everything, I do think that Brawlers isn't in that amazing of a spot than it used to. But that's okay. I still think that it's a very solid deck. I think that you can still clutch wins, and it's a playstyle that's very simple to pick up on, and that's nice. You know, you don't really need to spend too much time thinking about your plays. You just do them. So we're just gonna swing. Our hand is very lacking in options. 3 PGs, 2 grade 3s, and 1 of the Mighty Bolt Dragoon. Should have been playing poker. That's a full house right there. So, alright, Rising Phoenix, which is something you can play when you don't play the Big Bang Knuckle Dragon. Right? Yeah, that's Dragon. Attacking with the Vanguard first means that they have a chance to maybe double heal, but attacking with the rear guard means that they can guarantee the counter charge. I guess they don't need the counter charge, so it doesn't really matter here, but let's see what we draw into. Heal trigger, that is fine. Okay, we're gonna ride into the Big Bang Knuckle Buster. Punch jump. Here, going into the turbo is still good. I think that going into this turbo is still fine. Especially since we don't have Legion anyway, so. And I can use the skill, get rid of the Tear Rock, flip over the Harmonics because this is not a Late Joker matchup, evidently. And we don't have the numbers to actually hit 11, but I will commit the... should I commit it? I guess I'll save it. I'll just attack, just deal 1 damage. Save the Tear Rock, because next turn could be a Legion turn. So that means that the Tear Rock can actually help us scale, which would be very helpful. We do have 3 PGs and a Heal Guard, so we're not afraid of our opponent's aggression. And hopefully our opponent commits, because they can bully the 11k Vanguard right now, which in turn means that we can punish them and crush them. Going to the Zoras, which will prohibit us from doing our Legion plays, so I guess this matchup is a little tricky. Going second is always just solid. They have the Voltage Horn, which will remove our drop zone as well, so I guess in this situation right now, we are going to be less reliant on the Legion, and we will be looking more into the Stride plays. We do have the Conquest, we do have the Turbo. We only have 1 more Turbo left. Generally, we use a mix of the Turbo and the Legions, so you don't really rely on 3 or 4 copies of Turbo. But I guess in this case, maybe having more Turbos would be nice. I guess when we have the 16 card G-Zone, then this is something that you can play around with. Definitely makes the deck more expensive, but more options never hurt. Multi-charge retires the Sparking Dragoon and binds 2, and then the Zoras, when it hits, will also bind the last unit. Chain Ball Dragon here, Dragoon also here, binds and gives extra power to their numbers. Just going for the Zoras as the lethal. Heal here whiffs because they are at 3 and we are at 5, for better or worse. Ah, another one. Can't say no to that. I am a bit tempted to go into Vanquisher, just because our opponent is shutting down our Legion plays. Very tempting, very tempting. What do we do here? Yeah, the Vanquisher is very tempting. Alright, I am going to transition to the Vanquisher. Our opponent is playing Legion as well, so this would work out quite well for us. Conquest is great. Keep the Dragon, because Dragon works standalone. The Buster requires another Big Bang Knuckle in order to use its skills, so it's harder to make sure you have it active. Just gonna bind the Voltage Horn. And this was a misplay. I forgot that that doesn't hit numbers, so that is annoying. Do we commit the grade 3? Striding is important though. Commit the heal? Commit the heal? Alright, let's commit the heal. Let's try to push. Alright, keep quiet. Let's go with the heal and try to just push. Come on, can we see a heal? There we go. I like it. Asking for PG now. That's PG. So yeah, depending on what they do, we have the Terrock here, which blocks out their Conquest Dragon. It also blocks out their Vanquisher skill. If they go into Zoras or something, and they still have more like binding stuff, then I don't think we'll ever go into the Big Bang Knuckle Dragon anyways. So going into the Vanquisher, I think, is just unfortunate, like generally speaking, for the deck profiles. Even though sometimes I don't make optimal plays, it's because I'm trying to showcase certain things. But here, if I wanted to win, I definitely think that going into Vanquisher is the right play. It's just hard because our opponent's just doing a lot of retiring and binding, which just counteracts exactly what we're trying to do. And it is just what it is. But I guess it does show the deck's flexibility in pivoting towards certain matchups. Just having the Strike Fighter and one of Vanquisher as well as the Great Researcher helps us go into a little bit of a different playstyle just to play around, you know, something like this. The Mirror match, I guess. Not exactly the Mirror, but not close enough. Jatura here gives them one draw and the bind, which if we stayed on the Big Bang Knuckle would have been putting us in a very tough spot. But luckily we did it. Now we're just gonna drop the Heal Guard. Opponent still has 4 defensives possible, and we're gonna draw into PG, which is nice. Just nice. I'm going to go into the. I'm tempted to go into Conquest, but I think the Zoras here is. I think the Zoras here is the play. Rewriting and Legioning, probably not the play, because then I will only have the Vanguard as the attacker. But here I can bind. And I'm just gonna hit 12. That's game! Heal trigger over the game. A little fun fact is that the heal is a noble, so you can play it with that weird double rare stride if you want. Alright, that's good. That's good. It worked out, and a pretty solid showing of the deck. So yeah, a little bit later compared to some other people, if you're interested in seeing more variations of this deck, you know, you can definitely check out. Oh, thank you so much for subscribing while we finish this game. It is not, well, you know, this is a recording, so appreciate it. Unfortunately, it's a little covered, but thank you so much. And yeah, you can go check out Different Fight for some more gameplay if you're interested. And remember, if you are considering going into competitive play on the global side of things, the official Bushi tournaments will let you know if the choice restriction is on or off. And in the Winter Circuit's case, it has been off, which means you can play Rising Phoenix. So definitely go play Rising Phoenix if you can. So that's basically it for this video. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the members, Kamui, Nova Grappler, 2Mellow, KC, and ZBD for being members and supporting the channel. Thank you for watching, liking the video, and subscribing, just like our friend just now. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Just a little sneak peek while you might transition into another one of these videos. I've been playing around with Angels today, and there are very few decks that make me feel like, wow, this is broken. Like, I felt that with Bermuda when it came out. I felt that with Brawlers when it came out, pre-nerf. And right now, this is one of the few times I felt that immediate, what the hell is going on? How is this game balanced situation? So, Angel fans, rejoice. You finally have a meta deck, and I can't wait to profile it. I am missing some pieces. I do want to pay, it's just like triple rares and stuff, but I do want to show and I get to explain a little bit of everything. I don't think these pieces are too vital to being able to show gameplay, but I do think having a proper list is definitely better than having a scuff list that I have to do from time to time. So that's basically it. Hope you look forward to it. Thank you so much, and stay safe. See you soon. Bye.